Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. So we've got a great live event going on. With me, we're going to be talking about protecting your enterprise data against ransomware attacks with VMware's vSan and Cloudian. So with us today, we have two great speakers. First, I would like to introduce Grant Jacobson. He's the Director of Technology and Alliances with Cloudian. Welcome, Grant.
Thank you.
Perfect. Next up, we're going to be introducing Rachel Zheng, Product Line Marketing Manager with VMware. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. Really excited to be here.
So again, thanks for joining us today. If you guys do have any questions or comments, please put those in the chat going on. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Grant to take us through some of the talking points for today.
Great. Thanks, Jennifer. Welcome to everyone. And thank you for joining. We have a pretty exciting topic for you today: ransomware protection, data protection in general, but specifically around ransomware attacks and keeping your enterprise data safe. It actually turns out to be good news and bad news. Turns out that many companies don't know if their enterprise data is safe and locked. And many who think it is find out, unfortunately, that it isn't when they are a victim of these ransomware attacks. So we want to talk a little bit today, Rachel and I, about that and a solution, a VMware solution with Cloudian on how to actually keep data safe and locked. So let's go to that next slide here. And here's just a few examples. You may have read about these, and it turns out that ransomware is in the news literally every day. City of Atlanta in the US here, 2.6 million to recover from their ransomware attack. Law firms got hit for 42 million. The story is interesting. It turned out it was around 21 million was the original ask by the hackers to get that data back, and the law firm refused. And when they figured out they couldn't get it back otherwise, they didn't have a backup, the price doubled and they paid 42 million. TravelX, a lot of people know TravelX, traveling through airports, actually went out of business from their one-time ransomware attack. 6 million in ransom, and they couldn't recover. They couldn't get their business back, and they're no longer. More recently, it's healthcare. Many hospital systems and clinics around the world even are hit by ransomware, and they're locking up patient data. So it really is not safe. Or not as safe as people may think. So just a few examples. Rachel, it's an amazing phenomenon here, and it really doesn't. No one is really untouched.
Right, you're absolutely right, Grant. So, and this is even becoming more of an issue in 2020 when more of us are working from home, and then the dynamic is definitely changing. Yeah, so yeah, we've done some homework, and let's look at some numbers and see how serious this issue is. So it was the World Economic Forum predicted in 2019 that ransomware attack is going to be one of the top 5 risks to the world economy. So there are so many risks in terms of social, economics risks, as well as human risks, etc. And this is ransomware is one of those top 5. And this, like I mentioned, this is even increasingly important when every one of us are working from home, and that's in 2020. And the attacks are every 11 seconds, if you just can't believe it. And 97% increase in the past 2 years. And that's why you're seeing the amount about 11 seconds per ransomware to the latest. And to our surprise, 51% of customers are actually paying the ransom. And that's resulting in about $20 billion of cost to their businesses. And customers are paying like about $200,000 per ransomware, average ransom per attack. And that's just a ransom. And it's not even taking into account the impact to their business, like the disruption of services to their customers and damage to their brand reputation that takes even a longer time to recover, etc. Right, Grant?
Yeah, exactly. And we're hearing from our own customers, and we're hearing from other companies finding out about a ransomware protection solution. We're well known for data protection, but specifically, what do you guys do for ransomware, and can you help us? The next slide actually has a nice picture of, well, it's an unfortunate picture, but it nicely describes the importance and the acceleration of the ransomware attacks and the damage incurred just in the last few years. You see, it's more than doubling in terms of that cost, not just the ransom payment, but the disruption to the business, to the brand, and even other places in infrastructure that this is causing. So you can't be too safe. 20 billion is the, roughly doubling from 2019 for 2021, and we believe it's going up further. So it's an accelerating problem, and we're here today and happy to be chatting about it.
Yeah, definitely. And what we're here today is to bring you a winning combo of Cloudian HyperStore and VMware Cloud Foundation with Tanzu to solve your ransomware attacks issues, as well as overall data protection in general. So we see that customers are already reaping the benefits of Cloudian HyperStore today in terms of how they can start small and scale to hundreds of petabytes of data to help their data growth. And it's really a simple solution and cost-effective and to the military grade of security, right, Grant? And both of VMware and Cloudian have this vision of helping our customers with their hybrid and multi-cloud strategy. And what if customers can run Cloudian HyperStore on the ubiquitous hybrid cloud platform that they're already running many of their workloads today? So that's really what this joint solution brings. It's really simplified operations using the common skill sets and training for the storage needs of all your different applications, including data protection for your applications, right? And so simplified operations really means reduced risks, fewer human errors, and that's why that's a more steady platform for all your workloads. And also, what's interesting is that VMware has, with the introduction of vSphere with Tanzu, we get this native support for modern apps. So this platform is not just for your traditional apps, but also for your cloud-native apps and your newly developed apps today. So really excited about this integrated solution, which really brings flexibility and choice for our customers.
Right. And as Rachel said, this is really the platform for the data protection, for the ransomware protection, but this same platform works beyond data protection for, as Rachel said, for the enterprise workloads like Splunk or Oracle or SAP HANA or the cloud native applications. And it's really all about bringing the object storage to the platform. So we're really excited to be working with VMware on this. And it turns out that data protection is one of the #1 application workload, and ransomware within that turns out to be one of the most in-demand use cases for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we look at the data and ransomware protection use case for this joint solution, in recent years, we have noticed that customers are running all kinds of applications on VMware HCI. So it started from VDI, which was a very typical use case of HCI. And then since then, we have seen a proliferation of workloads on VMware's HCI platform from customers' most mission-critical workloads, like their SharePoint, SQL Server, Oracle, or SAP HANA databases, for example, or even cloud-native applications that they're running, with vSan being the storage backend. And how do we protect all these different kinds of workloads on the same data platform that they use to run these workloads? Like, how can you provide consistent operations between your primary site and the backup environment? So this is what this platform really brings. And we are really providing customers with choice as well. So it works with all the major backup and recovery partners. You can definitely integrate the current backup workflow for this joint solution as well. So we're really bringing Cloudian as the backup target for these most mission critical as well as the modern apps in customers' data center. And it's extensible to different environments on premises as well as in the multi-cloud environment, right, Grant?
Yeah, that's right. A lot of flexibility, as you said here, both in choice of the backup partner, but even how to configure and set this up. Many companies have data everywhere, even in public cloud, and this solution actually covers all of it. So multi-site or geo-distributed, including public cloud. So we're showing on the right side where that could be a remote site or a public cloud location. With any public cloud for tiering or replicating that data. But the most important thing from a ransomware protection point of view is the data is backed up and protected and locked up. And let me show you how that actually works here. Starting with your environment, where many companies have trained their people on how to be aware about phishing emails and other kinds of attacks. They have firewalls and network perimeter security already built in, and yet they are still vulnerable to these attacks. And what are they after? The hackers are after the data. To encrypt the data, whether it's primary data or the backup data, that's the prize, and that's what they're after. And that's where this solution actually operates. So the next picture shows how we actually do that. So next slide here. Yeah. So what we do together is we make the data immutable, meaning it cannot be touched, cannot be changed, cannot be encrypted. Once it's immutable, it is always available for recovery. And so even if the hacker can see it, they can't do anything with it. And that's the new gold standard here, if I can put it that way, on how to make sure you are invulnerable to any of these ransomware attacks. It's our S3 object lock with the Cloudian storage, again, running on the vSan data persistence platform with VMware. And the way that works, as Rachel was saying, it's built into your regular backup workflow. You just set the object lock retention period. So that could be 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. And the data is locked for the period that is retained. And that's it. So no changes to the workflow. It just works seamlessly and perfectly for that. And we have many customers running this today. And that's what's now available with VMware.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. And once the data is written and it's immutable and it cannot be changed, and it even cannot do that with the admin backdoor, right, Grant?
Correct. Correct. And there's some other security features that I'll highlight here. In addition to that S3 object lock, and it's not enough just to have the S3. And so we have other military grade level security features, including certification by various entities, U.S. Federal, for example, FIPS 140, 17A-4 SEC is this worm, write once, read many for that data immutability, common criteria. In fact, Cloudian storage is the storage for the U.S. Department of Defense Enterprise Cloud, for example, the Milk Cloud 2, for those familiar with that. And it's really fully protected. There's even system level hardening built into the HyperStore software with a secure shell, integrated firewall, and of course, role-based access. You were talking about, Rachel, rogue admins. There's access controls in terms of role-based access and IAM and other types of features built in here. So the combination of all of this really makes this the number one way to sleep at night knowing that your data is safe.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Grant. And this is a really impressive list of compliance programs that you guys have worked on. This is really great. And yeah, so just to sum it up, this is what we are delivering today is really a joint solution that helps customers with solving their data protection and ransomware attack issues, and to really provide a tamper-proof storage for their ever-growing data, right? And we also help customers meet their RPO and RTO service levels requirements. And this is especially for customers who are looking to meet compliance requirements for their regulated and long-term data, whether it could be patient's medical record or it could be very important personal information in your bank account, for example. And this is really a modern way for data protection. It's fully automated, it's secure, like Grant mentioned, it's military-grade security. And that really simplifies the data protection, because all the data, the deployment of Cloudian HyperStore on the data persistence platform is so simple, and the day two workflows are so built into the VMware vSphere workflows that it's really a seamless and integrated experience for customers.
Right, right. And so that's our short story today. Hopefully you'll sleep better knowing that this is available. And for those who want more information, Cloudian.com/VMware is our VMware page. The page for VMware, Cloud Native Storage and vSphere and vSan is there. There's a link there. And of course, vSan at Cloudian.com. Let us know if you have any questions or want to know more information or how we can help.
Yeah, and definitely there are some very good blogs that are put together by the Cloudian team. And I do encourage you to check out those blogs on ransomware attacks as well.
Perfect. And I want to thank you guys both for joining us today. And to those that are listening, there's also a survey. There's a link. So if you scroll the way down, there should be a link. If you complete that, you'll get a little bit of a gift from us, and we get some data for you. So with that, thanks both Grant and Rachel for joining us today. Please check out those links. Any questions, leave them in the comments, and we look forward to joining you on the next one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.